his computer. Welcome to another episode of the OC podcast. I am your host, Ricky Valero. On today's episode, we're going to continue on with rewatching the OC. We're on season 1, episode 23. We're slowly but surely coming to the end of season 1, and it's pretty crazy to think about. As always, I am joined by my partner here, Kenzie. How are you today?
I'm so good, but I'm very sad to be almost done with this season.
I was looking at it, I was like, there's only 4 episodes left after the nanny, right?
It's so sad. Because I remember vividly watching the season finale of this season. I don't know if I'm ready to go through that again. I don't know. I know, like, once we finish it, there's only a week before we watch season 2, episode 1. But, like, I don't know, because I watched this live on TV, and that was pretty traumatizing. All of these episodes that, like, we're about to go through are pretty, like, drama heavy from what I remember. So, I mean, it's exciting to watch it because it's not Oliver drama. Mm-hmm. Like, it's regular drama. Like, no Oliver. Even though he's briefly mentioned in an episode.
He is.
So, but I don't know. I'm sad. I don't want it to be over.
Me neither.
I love this season so much.
It's one of the best first seasons, I think, like, of all the shows that I've ever watched, and I really enjoy a lot of what kind of transpires here. It's so good. It's just so good.
It's such a detailed season.
It really is.
Like, there are so many bad guys. Like, remember Luke was a bad guy at one point? Like, what? Like, look at him now. His stupid haircut. Like,
oh my God.
What's his haircut?
So speaking of which, so I told you that my wife was watching Grey's Anatomy, and watching him on that show, right? Because we're watching week to week, we're watching the OC. Very, very, very young Chris Carmike, right? Very young.
2003. Right. Well, we're 2004 now.
Right.
But I mean,
this is recording
of
2021.
2020.
Right. So I'm watching this, and obviously big time difference, but first off, he looks exactly the same.
Yeah,
but
he's
just a little
aged
bit
really well.
Like remarkably. But
what happens when you're unproblematic? Just saying.
But the crazy thing about it is like, looking at him, it's like he's like a father, and I'm just like, I can't help but watch it and, like, picture that as Luke. Right?
Luke. Like, Luke is now a doctor, whatever. Like, I don't know. I haven't watched Grey's Anatomy in so long.
He is a doctor.
Okay, like, Luke is now a doctor.
He just became a father.
He just became a father. He lives in Seattle. Oh my God.
He just went up the coast a little bit, you know what I'm saying?
I love it. And then Seth Cohen apparently took a wild turn. I don't know if anybody saw Promising Young Woman this weekend. Wild turn, if that's Seth Cohen's sequel. Just wild. I don't want to spoil his role in that movie for anyone, but 2021 has been, well, I guess Kid Detective came out the very end of 2020.
Yeah, it did. Yep.
I mean, he's had a cool couple months, and I just watched Shazam for the first time, and I don't know if anybody who writes Shazam or anything is listening to this podcast for some reason. Hear me out. No offense to the guy from My Mind of Cohen, because that is not what would happen, right?
No.
Seth Cohen would be not in Promising Young Woman.
No, he wouldn't be that guy. No, he would be Shazam. Like, that's in the Shazam.
He would be Shazam.
It's not literally.
And I'm just saying, I think that everyone that likes the OC would actively go see Shazam 2 if it focused on Adam Brody as Shazam. And I mean, no offense to what's his name? Zachary Levi?
Yeah, Zachary Levi. Yeah.
Okay, I mean, he's great, but, like, no offense to him. I just, like, the second Adam Brody appeared on screen, I was like, Seth Cohen became a superhero. Do you know how cool this is?
That's like it's like the Josh Short, show, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
because if you combine the OC, you combine Chuck, both of which he created, and they're both in one movie together, right? You know what I mean?
It was really funny. I never really watched Chuck, but when I realized it was the same guy, I was like, maybe I should. And then I just never. I think it's on Hulu. What are we talking
Fox
about?
Loves it.
Yeah.
It's his
My
favorite.
husband
It's
really
one of his
likes
favorite shows ever. He's like, whenever you guys are done with the OC, we need to do a Chuck show. I was like, I've never watched it before.
Yeah, my husband really likes it. Like, I remember, when you go to a hotel, I mean, I guess not anymore, guys. I feel like Chuck was always on TV. Like, I don't
You
know.
would stay in a hotel or whatever, it would be on.
Yeah, you would, because I don't have cable. So like when I go to hotels, I love just watching like I always watch Food Network, but
Oh
like
yes.
I love just watching like random shows on cable, and I always feel like Chuck was on.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah, I
is the
did that.
OC not that show? I don't know if SoapNet is still a thing, but when I was in high school, we had DirecTV and SoapNet was a thing, and it played all of them. It played the OC, the new 90210,
Yep.
One Tree Hill, all of them. It was a whole thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
It never played Gossip Girl because it was like on air still, I guess. But it played all the era of teen shows from like this cycle, like the OC.
Yeah, I
That
love it.
used to be my favorite thing when I would stay home sick from school. Are you kidding? I would watch the OC, One Tree Hill, 90210, all back to back.
Yeah.
Dramatic stuff.
Speaking, I know we're on a little bit of a tangent here, folks. We'll get to the episode in a minute, but we found some crazy news this week.
Yes. Yes.
Some very crazy
Okay,
news.
I'm a very big casting what if person, like not just the OC, just in general. I love casting what ifs, like picturing a show or a movie with someone who almost was in the movie. I never knew this. Do you want to drop this bomb?
No, you're the one that found it out. I'm going to let you drop it. This is you.
Okay. I'm a huge Mad Men fan. Changed my life. I named my dog after Mad Men. Just huge, important show to me. John Hamm, Don Draper himself, Dick Whitman himself, was almost Sandy Cohen.
That blows my mind.
Like, no. I mean, yeah, that'd be
It wouldn't have
cool,
worked.
but
I
it
mean,
wouldn't have worked.
No, not even close.
Okay, like
Do you
Peter
think
Gallagher
that? Do you think
is
that like right? He's a good-looking dude. Like I'm not saying
but
Peter
I mean,
Gallagher's.
he's not like distracting good looking.
No,
Like
John Hamm is like very, very, very good looking.
we sat, we went to like way before COVID. We went to a restaurant and he sat like a table away from us. And like my former boss was even like starstruck by him and was like, he is so good looking. And I was like, it's really crazy.
Because
It would have been too much. Like it wouldn't have been like, especially like in this episode, like Kirsten and the Nana have like a weird relationship, and like that wouldn't have been a thing had Sandy been like extremely hot. Like
because you wouldn't have been able to sell that.
They would have been that couple. Like part of like the charm of Mad Men was like Don Draper is so good looking, his wife Betty is so good, and that's what Sandy and Kirsten would have been had Sandy been played by John Hamm.
Because you wouldn't have been able to buy John Hamm as
I'm
this
a Jewish
guy
from
up,
the Bronx.
Right, that I grew up in this poverty. No, dude, no, you didn't. You're a good looking guy. You had everything handed to you throughout the entire time of like high school. Like his life
wasn't difficult.
No,
like
not at all. But yeah, when you texted me that, I was like, what? Like,
sometimes I scroll through Twitter and I don't even like absorb what I'm reading. I just like scroll through it, but I cannot explain how fast I stopped and was like, what the hell? Like out loud. Like,
it puts you at like an abrupt, like, oh my God, right?
I can't believe it. I truly can't believe it. It's like, that would have changed the show. And like, I don't know. We wouldn't be talking about eyebrows so often.
Definitely
I'm thinking about all the lines that could not have been said because there are so many lines about his eyebrows.
100%.
Throughout the series.
100%.
Recurring character.
Yeah.
Deserve their own like and
they deserve their own credit, right?
Like and
feature.
Peter
Oh my God, you know how like what is it?
Because
like,
it's and Tate Donovan.
Right.
Like and it wouldn't have been and Tate Donovan. It would have been like with Tate Donovan and Peter Gallagher's eyebrows.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it would have been. Oh, it just blew my mind. I'm sorry if anyone listening doesn't care about John Hamm. I don't know anyone who doesn't like John Hamm.
Oh, I've never watched Mad Men, and I know you're mad at that. Just statement all as a collective.
I'm mad at that. But he's like well liked. Like he's in Baby Driver. He was in
so good in
that. What is that movie with Zach Galifianakis and Gal Gadot?
Oh man,
they're like neighbors or something.
Yeah. Oh, I really like that one too. Yeah,
Where the Joneses.
Yes, Where the Joneses. Yeah, that was fun. I like that movie.
And then he's also in a couple like almost good dramas, Beirut. Oh, and then he's in The Town. How could I forget? I love him in The Town.
Oh, I love their the banter between him and Affleck in that movie so
Yeah,
much.
they're really great
Good.
together.
It's a
I was
great
so
chess
shocked
match.
that award season when Jeremy Renner was the one who took off and not John Hamm.
Yeah, it
could have been Sandy Cohen. Like I can't believe it.
Yeah.
That would have scarred me for life.
You wouldn't have liked it as much as you did though.
No.
Not at all. All right, folks. Season 1, episode 23 was The Nanny. Are you ready for the synopsis?
Yes, hit me.
8.0 rating. That's pretty solid. That's a pretty solid bounce back. Obviously, as I say, bounce back, even though we liked the LA, a lot of people didn't because, people don't like Paris Hilton for some reason. Also, watch Promising a Woman to hear her song. But then
they don't pay us, guys. They don't pay us. I know,
they really don't. It's like
they should, but they
yes. Don't. Every podcast for like the last month Marissa runs away from learning. From learning. She does that too.
She runs away from learning. No more school.
Marissa runs away after learning a heartbreaking truth to a place where only Ryan could find her. Sandy's mother visits for Passover.
It's a decent one.
Not bad.
It's not bad.
I feel like they could have just... Marissa runs away after learning a heartbreaking truth, period. Sandy's mother visits for Passover. Why do they have to tell us where she ran away that we have only Ryan's going to find her, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a pivotal
kind of part of the episode, right? You know
and like when that line is dropped, which we'll get into, it's like impactful. And it's like, it's not if it's in the synopsis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like that.
And the thing about it is, it's like, if you think about it and you're watching the show, you kind of know where she goes.
Exactly. Like, I didn't remember until like a little bit into it where she was, but once I like thought about it, I was like, oh, of course, like.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to me why she went there, but we'll get into that later. I mean, it's weird for me. It was very weird for me to remember that as well. So, all right, where are we starting off at here?
So it starts out like
real quick. Whenever I love the like previously on OC thing. I love whenever like they just showed the little clip of Luke saying we've got a connection and then Ryan responding, it's gotta end. It's like, oh my God, it's so funny.
It's so aggressive.
It's very aggressive.
Which it gets kind of like, I don't like the way Luke is anymore. I don't know. He went from being like the bad guy to the doofus. And now he's just like this weird, like, he's only there to scream, I love Julie Cooper. And like, I don't get it. Like his character arc is very weird. So the whole episode starts with them discussing that Marissa's missing. And Luke and Ryan are together and they've been out all night searching for her.
Yep.
And they're like, let's ask Cohen if she's called. And Cohen is asleep.
Mm-hmm.
Which is hilarious.
Yeah, very much funny. He's supposed to be the go-to guy here.
Yeah. Which I wouldn't have left Cohen as the go-to guy. Like, of course he went to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
They're like yelling at Cohen that he's asleep, and he's like, if the phone rang, I would have heard it. And then he's like, oh, weird, a missed call.
That's so funny.
It was really funny. And Marissa left a message basically saying, like, I'm fine. Don't come looking for me. I just need, like, some space. And, okay, hear me out. Fine. That's fine. As long as she's in contact, I don't really care.
Right.
Just tell me you're fine.
Yeah.
Just schedule another call. That way I'm not worried about you.
Yeah.
Like, I know she has gotten in trouble before and has tried to hurt herself before. But she's actually come a really long way. And I think, like, this is actually a really horrible thing happening to her.
Yes. Like, let her be type of thing, right?
Yeah. And then, I don't know. It just, like, really bothers me that they just, like, it's like she made contact saying she's fine. Like, I don't know.
She ran away and didn't say anything at all.
Yeah. It's just, and it's not just, like, the whole that Julie and Luke were hooking up. It's that Ryan knew and, like, kept it from her. And so it's, like, all, like, she has no one. Like, it's just, I don't know. But to me, just tell Jimmy, get Jimmy involved. It should be a parent's problem, not Ryan. It should not be Ryan's problem.
Ryan makes everything his problem.
It's kind of like he always wants to like bear a cross, I guess.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I think it's because of like his mom. Like he always had to take care of his mom, so he's not used to like there being functioning adults around.
Yeah.
Not that I would call Jimmy functioning.
No.
But it's their daughter. Like, let them figure it out. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't know. But I love that Cohen is like, they're all yelling at Cohen, and then Cohen's like, this would have happened. This wouldn't be happening if Luke just had never had sex with Julie.
It was an accident. That's what Luke
And then he's like, did you accidentally have sex with her? Like,
or did you accidentally tell Marissa? Like,
and then it's like really funny because I'm like, he did actually accidentally tell Marissa.
Yeah, I mean, yes, that part.
Like that genuinely actually was an accident.
Yeah.
The whole situation's improved by Julie showing up.
Yep.
Which okay, who let her in the house? Was the door unlocked? And like, because if Kirsten or Sandy did answer the door, why is she talking to Ryan?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird?
Right. Yeah. Why wouldn't she go in there and be like, hey, we need to have a talk? Like, yeah.
It's like really weird because like my parents would have never just like let someone else's mom just come in and talk to me. They'd been like, okay, what's going on? Like, I don't know.
They would have been getting to the bottom of what's going on in the entire situation.
But I just love this whole interaction so much. I did not realize that Julie did not know that everybody knows.
Exactly. Yes.
And
it's like a top secret on top of a top secret type of thing.
Yeah. Right? And then so Julie comes in and she's like, what is going on? Like, where's Marissa? And they're like, they all just kind of like stare at each other like shit. Like, and then Luke's like, they know.
And she's like, shut up,
Luke. And then he's like, no, like Marissa knows.
Yeah.
And she's like, just like in disbelief. And then this is the part that kills me. She looks at Ryan. She's like, what did you do? Right? And he's like, what did I do? What did you do?
Exactly.
Like,
you literally slept with her, her best friend or whatever, like her ex-boyfriend. You know what I mean? Like,
it's just ridiculous. And then my favorite part of this is like her and Ryan have this weird relationship. She like looks at Seth and Luke and it's like she's been having sex with Luke, okay, but she still prefers to only speak to Ryan. She asks them to give her some space.
Yeah, she's like, she clears the room and it's hilarious.
And it's just like so weird. Like, and then she's like, I'm gonna call the cops, and then Ryan's like, do it. Like, it's so funny. It's like a recurring theme of this episode where Julie's like, I'm gonna call the cops, and he's like, okay, just do it then. Explain to them the situation.
Yeah.
And I love that Ryan calls her out on it. He's like, what are you gonna tell them about why she ran away? But then Julie is like 10 steps ahead and is like, well, I'm gonna call her doctor. I'm just gonna have her locked up. And I'm like,
God.
Okay, we were talking about this off air, but I hate characters where I'm like, why do you have children? Like, I don't understand. I don't get it. And then, you know, Caitlin's somewhere. Like, we never fucking see her, but she is somewhere. Like,
she's never with Jimmy. Like, never
with Jimmy.
Never.
Which I'm sure is Julie's doing, but then I'm like, Julie's out there having sex with teenagers, so like, I don't know.
The mama or nanny or whomever is always it's on speed dial, ready to watch the other
grandma or something.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know. But so I do think Julie's in the wrong here, threatening to call the doctor because this is like Julie's fault. But like she kind of has a point. Like Marissa has harmed herself in the past.
Right, for sure. The thing
but it's like she did call. She said, I just need space.
Yes.
Just give her space.
All right, give her a day. It's been
6 hours or something. Like,
exactly.
chillax. If I were Marissa, I would have just been at my dad's or whatever and just been like, leave me alone. Like, you guys know where I am, but leave me alone.
Yeah, I mean, I agree because like if that would have been like the case of like, hey, I'm at dad's house, but just if you show up, like just leave me alone, right?
Yeah.
Not go to an entirely different county where
nobody knows you.
Yeah.
I don't know. We cut to something more awkward. Haley made this huge breakfast, 3 types of pancakes, which kept getting repeated.
Yeah.
I have a question though before we dive into this. Where do you stand on the waffles versus pancakes debate?
Waffles, definitely.
Okay, same. Which is awkward because I named my dog, who's no longer with us, Pancakes. After the show, actually. He's a character you meet later on. But I always preferred Waffles, which is funny because my sister named her dog Waffles.
That's
They had like
fantastic.
waffles, pancakes. It was a whole thing. But yeah, I prefer waffles.
Me 100%. I prefer French toast over both, but
Same,
yeah.
1,000%.
Yeah.
It's a huge argument at my house. My husband was like, French toast is bottom tier. He said that it's not even in the conversation.
What to compare to waffles? It's like light years better than waffles and pancakes.
Yeah. So I don't get it. If you're listening still after all these tangents, leave a comment. Would you have liked John Hamm as Sandy?
Yes.
Do you prefer waffles, pancakes, or French toast? Let us know.
Exactly.
I don't know what's going on anymore.
We've got so many questions. You know what I mean?
But speaking of waffles and pancakes, Sandy comes in freaking out, like DEFCON 10. Like he is like highest alert. He's like putting everything in boxes. Like he has boxes, bags, all this stuff. And he's like, they're like, what is going on? He's like, what is all this food? And he's like, it has to go. And I love it. He's literally dumping like bread
Everything
into like a cardboard box. I'm like, what is going on? And he's like, the Nana is coming. And he's like, and it's Passover. And they're like, this all has to go. There cannot be any bread or any of this product in the house. And Seth says the funniest thing. He's like, I love when Nana comes to town and Dad becomes Jewish again.
It's so funny.
It's so funny because so Passover, you can't have food that has any bread component. So like you see him taking cereal. It's not just bread. It's like any product that has risen basically.
Yeah.
So the night before Passover, and they make it clear this is the first day of Passover, the night before Passover, you actually like clean out all the food. Like you're not allowed to have it in your house. So that's why he's freaking out, because it's not like the day of you do this. It's like the day before you actually do it. And his mom obviously takes it very seriously. And he's like, she is going to freak out. And it's like the one day Kaylee cooks this huge spread. And
it's all bread, like, risen stuff, you know what I mean?
It's like, ridiculous. Yeah. 3 kinds of pancakes, guys.
Throws a blueberry at his mom.
And then he's like telling Kirsten, he's like, what about the food? And she's like, I don't remember the name, the Ackermans. She's like, the Ackermans take care of food. He's like, no, I tell my mom that we do the Seder here. He's like, so we need to have the food here. And she's like, oh. And he's like, and by the way, she thinks we do this every year. And he's like, and by the way, she thinks you converted. And he's like, I'm kidding about that one. It was really funny.
It's so good.
It was funny that like, even in all his panic, he's still making jokes.
Yeah.
Like it's so Sandy.
He's exactly, that's what I was going to say. He's still Sandy within the midst of all of it.
All his panic.
Seth and Summer, that's adorable. This is like, I like this scene.
I like the scene a lot. So it starts out like really serious, like about Marissa. He's like questioning her and she's like, she called me, she's okay, she just needs time.
Yeah.
And like, I'm like, that's exactly what she left on that message. So can you guys please shut the fuck up? Like, stop doing this.
Like, even Seth is like, okay. Like, he's just like,
okay, fine. But
yeah, whatever.
It's so funny. And then he's like stressed out and he brings up that his Nana is in town. And Summer's like, that's so cute, the Nana. And he's like, she's not cute. She's scary. And that has been the theme so far of the Nana, that the Nana is scary.
Terrifying. Like scary, terrifying, right? And
but Summer's like, I still want to meet her. Like, she sounds cute. And Seth is like, absolutely not.
Yep.
And then he says something about Passover, and she's like, what's Passover? And he's like, definitely not meeting the Nana.
Yes, definitely not. Yeah, no.
It's so funny.
Yeah, and I love the importance of this scene for so many levels, right? You know what I mean? We set up the idea that Summer knows absolutely nothing about, the Jewish culture at all, right? You know what I mean? She's no idea what Passover is.
Like, she did not watch that Rugrats episode even, Passover, apparently, which I don't, come on.
Completely went over her head. And obviously on the flip side of it, Seth is being very like, she's crazy. Like you can't be around her. But then on top of that, you don't know anything about this culture. So if you come around, you're going to sound or say
Yeah.
something that's going to be wrong.
She's going to he knows that the Nana will go after her.
Yes.
And he doesn't want that for her.
No, because he knows then that, maybe she'll,
Summer like wears her heart on her sleeve. So he's like, I don't want you to have to go through that.
Right. Because if you go through this, I promise you are going to.
And they're kind of like doing really well.
Right. Yeah. Oh
Seth
my God,
and Summer.
Yes.
Like their relationship.
They're having a little bit of a rough episode.
It's like moving on pretty nicely.
Yeah. So he doesn't want to ruin what they've got going, going for them right now, which I can appreciate that.
Yeah.
Jimmy and Haley.
Yes.
Very interesting scene.
I don't
I
think
Sandy was freaking out first, and then
yeah. Okay, so Sandy's changing the sheets on their bed. He's like, "What if she comes up here and touches them and realizes they're very expensive?" I don't have someone in my family like this, but I know people that do, where like they judge them for like absolutely everything.
Everything, right?
And so I understand that like not firsthand, but I understand that panic. But he's like, the Nana's not coming for Passover. She's not coming to visit. She is coming because I got a new corporate job and she wants to scold me and set me back on my righteous path.
Right. Because
Mama
Cohen is, she does what,
He goes on and on and on about if she has extra money, it didn't go to us. It went to the ACLU.
Yeah.
It went to, like, he was like, nothing was spent on us. Like,
right,
it was always about others.
Yep.
And he's like, she is going to come yell at me that, like, not only did I take a corporate job, I'm opening a restaurant. Like,
yep.
So he knows. He knows. Also, I just want to point out that, so during Passover, you can't really like eat out because you can determine that like the food wasn't contaminated with.
Gotcha.
Okay. He's opening a restaurant. Passover is not like a one-day holiday.
Right.
It's a whole week.
Right. So with that being said,
why is he opening a restaurant during Passover? Even if he doesn't celebrate it, like,
right.
And he knows his mother does.
Yeah. I would have delayed the opening of the restaurant or something.
It's like, I have a lot of questions.
Especially considering that his mama's meatloaf is one of the main of the menu.
Like, let's explain that. But then we cut to my least favorite couple, Jimmy and Haley.
You don't like these two?
I just think it's like,
it's very weird.
It's not only like weird, it's just like their age is fine to me, like their age gap, it doesn't really bother me. It only bothers me because he knew her when she was like young.
Yeah.
And like he was in love with Kirsten. Exactly. And like he's still actively like in love with Kirsten, and it just like bothers me. And Jimmy keeps bringing it up that him and Kirsten and him and Sandy are doing like really well as friends.
Yep.
And Jimmy just like needs to focus on himself. And I never really say that about people. Like, I am very pro putting other people before me. Like, I do it a lot. But like, Jimmy needs to work on himself. And like, when he does, things go really well for him.
Yes, he's got everything going for him in the right direction.
Yeah, it's like he just needs to keep on that path.
Right. The last thing he needs right now is the distraction of it's not just a relationship. Like, if it was just any random person, go for it, Jimmy. But this is not just anybody. This is Kirsten's sister, so the dynamic's weird. You got Caleb involved because Caleb loves some Haley, a whole lot, and he doesn't really like
the favorite.
Jimmy.
Yeah.
He doesn't really like Jimmy, and then you have Kirsten involved and then Sandy would be like,
whatever,
also,
Okay, let's say Haley and Jimmy got married, and then let's say Caleb and Julie got married. Right. Would they still be like related?
They would be, right? He would.
Jimmy would be her son-in-law.
Yeah, he would.
Her ex-husband would be her son-in-law.
That's fantastic.
Well, that's so weird. That's such a Josh Schwartz thing, because on Gossip Girl, I can't explain to you the boundaries of relationships.
That's fake.
Oh my God. So anyway, I'm not into Jimmy and Haley. It's just like, because he is on such a good path, I don't want him to go down that path.
Yeah, me neither. Not at all.
I do think it's very nice of him. He like comes over to like check on her because the night before, we're led to believe, was the night she got rescued
Yep.
from
This is very
LA.
sweet. Very sweet.
It's very nice.
Transition to Ryan. Well, everybody really. Ryan looks like he hasn't slept in about a month, doesn't he? Like he looks.
Yeah, like, is this the same day still?
Maybe this
Is this
next
all
morning?
one day?
I'm confused. Well, yeah, because
That's
he's freaking out
yeah,
because
it
she's
is.
coming that day. Yeah, this is like lunchtime, I guess,
yeah.
area. Yeah.
Okay.
So, and then Sandy asks who's going to the airport with him.
Nobody wants to go.
Nobody volunteers, and he kind of looks at Ryan and goes, "Ryan."
I personally hate going to the airport, so I totally get it.
Yes, for sure.
I hate it.
And Ryan knows nothing about the nanny except for what Seth has told him, and obviously everything that's kind of
It's not
transpired
great.
this morning, it's not good, right? You know what I mean? So, and he, she's not exactly receptive, and then,
The Nana's actually there.
she has arrived.
Yeah, she's arrived. She's like, "Hello." The door's
unlocked. Wide open.
She's like, "I could steal all your belongings." It's so weird.
So
but then everyone's shocked that she's there, and then they're more shocked because she is being overly nice, like so nice. She hugs everyone. She's nice about Kirsten's appearance. She's like, "Wow, the ocean." Everyone's like, "What is going on?" I love this though. She doesn't recognize Haley at first, and then she's like, "Ah, yes, the bad seed."
Yes, that was so. Because I was just like, it's so funny that she says that. It's like, what? Like, yes, the bad seed. I like that so much. Let's see here. And then
Seth is like freaking out to just Ryan in private that the Nana's being nice. He's like, "I don't get it. This is so unlike her."
Yep.
Like, she hates Kirsten. Like, she hates my mom.
Yep.
And then
so
this
nice.
and this help connects with Ryan where Marissa is.
Put 2 and 2 together right there.
He's like, "Holy shit." So the next scene is showing where she is in Chino with Teresa. And I love Teresa answers the door and she's like, "Took you long enough." And I'm like,
was this a
you
game?
couldn't have called? Like,
oh, she told me not to call. Well,
like, who is your allegiance to? Like, your relationship was with Ryan, not, I don't know. It's weird to me.
Literally just like a week ago, they're sleeping together.
Yeah, like, if we're led to believe this is like the same day, like the day after LA, like it literally was like a week ago that they were together. I don't get it.
Together. Like looking for an apartment for her in that area.
Yeah. Wanted ads, everything. The situation's improved by Eddie showing up, being like, of all days, he just shows up on our day.
Yep.
And Ryan's like, "What day?" And Teresa's like, "Our engagement party," which further leaves me confused about like, why is this all happening so fast? It's just so weird. I don't get it. I don't ever get the Teresa stuff, like, ever. How old is she? Why isn't she in high school? Like, what's going on?
I don't either. I was completely I'm just completely baffled that's where she showed up. I mean, first off, let's be real. You know what I mean? Like,
I get it because like someone pointed out later that only Ryan could find her there.
Right. And yes.
And that like puts the risk of Luke, that puts the risk of Julie,
everybody else
at very, very low chance.
Even if she does call the cops or a doctor or whatever,
they're not gonna find her there.
They wouldn't be able to.
But then I'm like, she knew on some level she wanted Ryan to find him.
Right, of course, yeah. And they both point that out very much.
Yeah.
Early on or later on in the episode, which I appreciate it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. So Kirsten and Sandy and Seth are freaking out about the Nana being nice. They're just freaking out. I love Kirsten goes, "Well, maybe she's changed. Maybe she's just come to terms with life and now she's much nicer." And then she's like, "No, you're definitely right. Something's wrong." But she's like, "Don't question it. Like, just
go with it. Run with it.
Just go with it. Don't poke a hole in it. Like,
because if
let it go.
If Nana's here being nice, she's being sweet, she's being charming, then just let her be nice, sweet, and charming. Don't because at some point, obviously later on, he does poke the bear to the point where the bear gets angry and then bada bing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like, she's like, don't do that. We're having a good time. Let's have the good time. Like,
yeah, like she's like, just let it happen naturally. Like, don't interfere.
Yeah.
Summer shows up and the Nana answers the door.
Mm-hmm.
And Summer's
So
like,
funny.
you must be the Nana. And I'm like,
so
who
good.
says that?
So funny.
And I love it because she brought macaroons, which Sandy just asked her to make macaroons. Yep. And she was like, I don't do that anymore.
Yep.
And they have like a really nice banter.
A little bit. I do. And it doesn't.
It's so cute.
Like, I wanted to point this out. Summer may be hypothetically dumb in the eyes of where her character development has been, right? You know what I mean? Yes. Like, they don't make portrait, but she seems like she would be a very good
with parents
person to take home, right? Yeah, person to take home, right? You know what I mean? Like, she would be
because she's very polite.
Yes,
she has conversation. Like, she doesn't just like sulk around or whatever. Right. Like, no offense to Marissa, but I don't really feel like Marissa would be someone.
Which is funny because I would like, if you look at the big picture of all of it, like if you're a guy, you're looking at it like you would rather take Summer home than Marissa, even though like that's not how you would probably portray it if you look on the outside looking in, you know what I mean?
Yeah, like once you see their true characters and how they interact with people, like Summer would be like, because she has a personality. Yeah. She like, even on Thanksgiving, like she started helping with like she wanted to be like involved, and it's just exactly. Like, I don't know, like she's her own like person with her own personality. Like, she's never trying to be somebody else.
No,
she's always Summer.
Charming, exactly. Yeah, I loved it.
But she offers to make copies of the Hagdala, which is hilarious because then I have two questions about this. Most Hagdalas are in Hebrew.
Okay.
But Summer opens it and can like read it. Because Seth makes a joke that she's reading it wrong because you don't read it like a normal book, like in the United States, like left to right, it's backwards.
Right? Yeah.
But why would it be backwards if it's in English?
Yeah, that doesn't.
Unless it has like Hebrew with English underneath it. I don't know.
That's potential. Yeah, maybe it's transcribed for other people to be able to.
It's hilarious though, because Seth is like, I don't want you to be here, but you might as well go do that. And she's like, okay, bye. Like, I just like
I don't want you here, but since you're here, I need you to go do something.
Yeah.
And he's like, yes,
it's hilarious because now that the Nana knows, like the Nana's like, so you're coming for dinner, right? Like,
exactly.
Like, it's hilarious.
We transition to Teresa and Ryan fighting.
And she's getting married in June, which is soon, I assume.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's after Christmas, after Valentine's Day.
They went to LA and it was like...
So where are we? We're probably in like the March, April-ish, maybe?
I feel like April, probably.
Yeah, solid April. Yeah, I agree with you.
But they kind of have like a nice... Like, once they get past the whole I should have invited you or whatever kind of conversation, like, they're like really communicating, and she's like, I can see why they go back to this relationship because they do seem to be able to understand each other.
Oh, I agree 100%. 100%. Yeah, because you would see that they're like, they would have a little bit more chemistry there than, obviously they've been around each other their entire lives. So it's quite interesting that they are able to still be okay, even like we said, only a week out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's still very awkward.
Yeah. Marissa, on the other hand,
yes,
is kind of throwing a fit. Doesn't want to go anywhere.
Very hostile.
Yeah, I understand why though. Like, Ryan did keep this from her, but she's got to understand, like, she's Marissa. She freaks out over everything.
Everything. Like, and she has...
But Marissa is in the right. Like, she's in the right here. Like...
Okay, so the point here is this. You don't want anybody but Ryan to find you, right? Hypothetically, right? But when Ryan finds you, you're mad.
Yes.
It's the most Marissa thing ever, right?
Yeah, it's so Marissa. It's hilarious.
Yeah, exactly.
She did just like need time, and nobody's really giving her any time.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Ryan is being told by Julie constantly, like, I'm going to call the police, like, bring her home.
Yeah. I agree 100%. Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Very just...
Yes.
There's just a lot going on in the situation for Marissa to not just be a little understanding and be like, okay, now my mom is putting you in this position.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah. Marissa ain't going nowhere. She's going nowhere.
Except all the non-kosher for Passover food from the Cohens is going somewhere. It's going to Jimmy's.
So good.
It's just like a box of all the non-kosher for Passover food.
Yeah.
That Haley delivers to Jimmy. And she makes a move on Jimmy.
Yeah. Makes a real move. Like a real move. Right?
And Jimmy's like, whoa. And he's like,
he enjoyed himself for a minute. Then he said, whoa.
Yeah. He's like, I am just such good friends with Kirsten. Sandy and I are great friends. Sandy and I have the restaurant, and that's like my livelihood. And he's like, as much as I want this, I can't risk all of that, which is everything.
Yeah, which is what we talked about.
For this.
Right, we talked about that.
Yeah.
And how she reacts, she thinks that Jimmy's throwing up the mixed signals, which I would agree with.
I would agree with, but also like he does just like he's
a caring person.
Like he didn't go to LA to get her because like he's in love with her. Like he has known her whole life.
Yeah,
that we're led to believe.
She's better than a strip club. She's better than what she's doing for herself. And
he knows that it's self-destructive and not like just a way to make ends meet, really.
Sure.
So I get why she's upset, but also like she also knows Jimmy is like this kind of person.
And the thing
that
about
cares.
It is, they had that talk that night, right? You know what I mean? Like, they were even said that one night. I forget the end of that episode. It was like, we know that this could be really good, but
it's not.
But it's not. It's
like
not
we can't pursue this.
Yes, right.
So it's just really weird.
Yeah.
And then weirder, we transition back to Ryan and Marissa. And Marissa delivers such a solid line. Ryan's like, everyone is worried about you. Just come home. Like, we'll figure it out. And she's like, who's worried about me? Luke? My mom? I'm like, shit. You got me there, Marissa. You got me there.
She's got a solid point here, guys. She's got a very, very, very solid point here.
It's so solid. Like,
it was such a great line. It was a great delivery, great line.
Yeah, because then she just kind of stares at him like, what are you going to say now? I'm like, okay. Like, you're right. Like,
you have no leg to stand on right now, Ryan.
Yeah.
Zero leg to stand on.
Just painful. So speaking of painful, this was like really hard to watch. We transitioned to Sandy, who has taken his mom to the restaurant.
Yep.
Which he didn't think was going to happen. And she's like, I really liked it. And he's like, it wasn't completely done. And she's like, no, like it was great. And she's just talking, being nice.
As we talked about earlier in the episode.
And Sandy, you can see his face. And he's like, I don't buy this Mary Poppins Jewish act. That's the funniest thing. It was so funny. He's like, drop the act. Like, what is going on? And she's like, and Kirsten's like, Sandy. And she's like, stay out of it. And he's like, do not speak to her like that.
Yep.
And
we're getting serious now, right? We're getting serious.
She goes off. She like everything she's bottled up. She's like, your stupid restaurant. She's like, I don't even know all the stuff she said. She's just really mad. Basically everything she had bit her tongue on leading up to this moment, she unleashes.
All the way
and then I don't know what Sandy says, but he says something about like the way she's living. And she's like, well, you won't have to deal with it for much longer because one day I'll be dead. And he's like, no, you're going to outlive us all, like out of spite.
So funny, right? It was so good. Like, it's a good line.
It was such a typical line of someone that like someone like that they just like have this horrible awkward relationship with.
Yep.
But then she's like, no, well, Dr. Talley disagrees with you.
Yeah.
She's like, he gives me 4-6 months tops. I have advanced lung cancer. And she just like kind of stares at him. Wow. Like you can tell she said it and then she immediately regretted the way she dropped that information. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Like, I don't think she actually wanted to say it like that. I just think like she was probably trying to be nice, and make them like comfortable.
Do you
And
think
then
she wanted to tell him at all?
I don't know. I was thinking
I thought about
it.
like maybe she was gonna come back, do Passover as a family one last time.
Yeah.
Like she seems like the kind of person that doesn't want to put a burden on anybody.
Yeah.
You know what I
I
mean?
just think maybe she was gonna tell them, but like the day she was leaving or something.
Right. Yeah, I agree with that.
Be
I
like,
agree with
there's
that.
nothing you can do. And I think like it just like came
She's at
out
the
because you
airport.
could,
She's at the airport at the gate. Oh, hey, by the way, I'm
yeah,
dying.
like it was really hard to like watch it because then Sandy just looks devastated.
Oh my God.
And
Because no
Kirsten
matter how he
knows
feels about his
it's
mom,
his mom.
yeah, it's still his mom, right?
And like they might not like get along, but like you can tell they still have this like relationship where they like love each other. Like they just like they're too similar. They're very similar.
To be just like her.
Yeah. So it's like
identical paths of the lawyer, the helping, the need it. You know what I mean?
It's like my dad and my brother are the exact same, and like sometimes I can't be around them because like they don't get along because like they're the exact same.
Right,
and I'm like, I just can't listen to this.
Exactly.
Like, and then speaking of more people who don't get along, Eddie and Ryan.
He gets roughed up here.
Yeah. I literally was because so Eddie kind of tells him like, I'm getting a drink. You better be gone by the time I'm done, which makes no sense to me because it's not a very big backyard or anything. Like,
no.
Like where he's getting a drink, I'm pretty sure Ryan would still be standing or something. Like, I don't know. It's like a weird flex. But to be fair, it's Eddie's engagement party. Like, Ryan shouldn't be there. Like, I wouldn't want, like, Teresa wouldn't want Eddie's ex-girlfriend there.
I mean, but it already
and it's like from a week ago. It's not like it's from like 7 years ago or something.
It's not like we're at an instance where he literally slept with his lingering fiance, because she didn't say yes, I don't think, right? She hadn't said yes yet to the engagement.
Yeah,
but you slept, and you're friends. Like they've been friends their whole lives too, right? You know what I mean? So Eddie, like
it's weird. But then Julie calls Ryan and is like, "Get Marissa home, or I'm calling the cops."
Yep. And Ryan,
I literally was like, "Do I hate Julie more or Eddie more?" Definitely Julie.
Oh, definitely Julie.
Because at this point in time, I don't mind Eddie. I just think Eddie's mad, and I don't blame him.
He has every right to be mad here.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't blame him at all either. Eddie Cohen.
She
delivers quite possibly the best monologue.
She's just so Kirsten is like talking to her, recommends an oncologist that they have there.
Yeah.
And she's like, Kirsten mentioned, I never knew this is how her mom died. I knew her mom was dead. I just didn't know how. She mentions her mom had ovarian cancer and went to this oncologist. And Nana Cohen's like, well, so she did the chemo, she did the radiation, surgery. And she's like, yeah. She's like, how did it work out? And Kirsten's like, okay.
How to respond to this, but
and then Sandy is like trying to convince her to like stay here and get treatment. And she gets a little mad. And she's like, I hate the sun, I hate the ocean, I hate Schwarzenegger. And then she runs off. Hilarious.
It's one of the best lines.
It's such a great line, such great line delivery.
100% agree.
It's so good.
Seth and Ryan are on the phone.
Yeah, so Summer is reading the Haggadah in bed with Seth in the background of Seth and Ryan's phone call.
Yep.
Seth is like, you have to come home. And Summer is saying like Hebrew words and not enunciating properly. And I don't blame her. I can't enunciate them either. And Marissa's in the background of Ryan's phone call and is like, I'm going to go talk to Eddie. And Ryan's like, no, like, what are you doing? And then Seth is like, just come home. Summer's having a Hebrew hernia and something's going on with the Nana.
Oh my
Um,
god. Oh
it's
my god.
just
By the
so
way, he
funny.
says when he says the line, we have the Nana happening, it sounds like a horror movie, right?
It's like it's the whole delivery of always calling her the Nana, like not
Yeah.
Nana.
It sounds like it's part of the Conjuring universe, right?
Yeah, like it's another spin-off coming
It is.
2022 to HBO Max.
The Nana.
Written by Josh Schwartz. Oh my god.
Oh, please. Oh man.
Um Speaking of something I don't want to happen,
Luke
Luke shows up to Julie's. So he is like, I don't even just stop.
I,
No?
I grew very tired
It's exhausting.
of him throughout this entire episode.
Yeah.
I don't understand. I didn't understand it.
This is not the character I wanted Luke to turn into because
No.
he was a jerk.
We finally
yes,
started liking him.
but we finally started liking him.
Yes.
I don't understand. I don't even want to talk about them. I just like don't care. But Julie's like weird. She acts all of a sudden like Luke is too good for her, but like she's the bad person in the situation.
Yes.
Like, he is underage.
Yes, and she could have said no. Luke. Like Luke, I appreciate that. I'm flattered.
It's flattered, but
right.
No.
Yeah.
I just it's gross.
Transition to Sandy is giving Nana the business.
Because Nana's outside smoking.
Yes.
And she's like, the one upside to having lung cancer is I can smoke as much as I want.
And he's pissed.
And he's like, well, I called your doctor. Your doctor said you're not returning any calls of his. And she is like, you know, like that's none of your business. And he's like, it is. Like, I need you.
Yeah.
And she's like, I can't do the treatment because I don't want to get sick because I have kids who depend on me. And he's like, your kids depend on you.
Exactly. Like,
and he goes off about his childhood and how they never knew if she was going to be at home or if they'd see her or like anything. And I just want to say this whole time he's having this conversation, we never see his siblings.
No.
Do we?
No. Yeah. I'm almost
like
positive.
He kept saying, I have a brother and a sister. And I was like, you do?
Right.
Oh my God, it could have been played by John Hamm.
Who would have played his sister though?
This era around this time.
Amy Brennan. What's her name? Amy. Yeah.
Amy Brennan.
She's on The Leftovers.
Yeah, I'm
Judging Amy.
Yeah,
I like her.
Yeah, me too.
And she would have been a good daughter to the actress that plays the Nana. And then she doesn't have like thick brows or anything, but she could fit in with them. She's also in Private Practice, which stars Chris Lau, who was in Promising Young Woman with Adam Brody.
So we can bring this thing full circle, like full circle.
Plugging like Promising Young Woman again.
The
best part of this whole thing is that that Seth is standing like near the outside. Here's the whole conversation. Yeah. So not only does he find out in this conversation that his grandma is sick with cancer, he finds out that she's not getting treatment.
Yeah.
That his dad did not have an enjoyable childhood with his mother.
Yeah. That's a lot to unpack in like one.
It's a lot. Like it's not a normal.
No.
Because I don't think I know he knows that Sandy doesn't really like the Nana that much, but you never would speak that way about like your parent in front of your child.
No, he just knows that she's
that's
scary.
Too candidly. She's scary, he just that's all he really knows.
Yeah.
But I love that they don't say anything when Sandy walks away. The Nana sees Seth, and Seth just kind of stares at her.
Yeah.
And it's just like I can't believe you. And like now there's no getting out of this for her. Like she kept saying she didn't want anybody to know. And now it's like
person that she didn't really want to know
knows and knows everything. Like knows that she's choosing herself not to do treatment. Mm-hmm. Teresa actually gives Marissa some solid advice, and she starts talking about like
Eddie
is giving Ryan solid advice. So
which this whole like it's just still very weird to me. Like this happened last week, guys. Like
it's
we get
like
over
he
things
was
on the
just
OC very
pushing
fast.
him in a pool.
Yes, not very.
I don't know. Teresa's telling Marissa like, you'll find what, like, I ran away from home, but then I realized what I needed was at home.
Yep.
And she's like, bitch, go home. And then Eddie gives the advice of the episode to me.
100%.
He's like, Marissa came here and she knew only you could find her.
Only you.
Like, think about that.
Yeah.
Like, think about it.
Great line delivery.
Yeah, he was like really charming. Like, I was like, okay, I get it. Like,
yeah, I get
not my type,
Teresa.
but I get it.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
Actually, he's pretty tall.
Yeah,
he's pretty tall. Height is a big thing. I really like that whole moment, like both sets.
Yeah, for sure. I thought it was. We had so much crazy, right?
Yeah,
so much crazy going
calm
on.
And like
it was calm,
reasonable,
cool, collect. Yeah, I dug it. Yeah,
it was just really weird because like if you would have told me like an episode ago that like Ryan and Eddie would be like chill, having a nice conversation with Eddie
Marissa
giving like
and Teresa were like okay, even though like Marissa was just being the bigger person, even though like it still was very weird.
It was very like very nice. Another weird conversation. The Nana goes to Seth.
Yep.
And I understand what she's saying. So she's saying that she didn't want him to know because she wanted to get to know Seth as like an adult or like a young man. Yeah. Because not under the premise that she was the sick relative, that she just wanted to get to know him, which I understand. And then he's like, but you don't really care. And she's like, what are you saying? And he's like, well, you don't care because like you're not going to try. You're not going to try to get better. You're just giving up. You're just going to die. And it was like so brutal. And I was like, shit. Like,
he's not wrong. You know what I mean?
He's not wrong. And it's like no one's really reacted that way to her, where it's like she doesn't really care what Sandy thinks because she doesn't like value like his opinion per se, I guess. But like Seth, it's like it's her grandson. It like kind of really hurts her.
Yep.
It's like an awkward conversation, but I'm really proud that Seth like
he stood up,
came at it. Like he didn't like
he didn't do
skirt around the issue, which is weird because Kirsten also did that, and like neither one of them are people I would assume would do that.
Yeah, they were like they were very combative in scenes of which where they're not typically combative.
Yeah. It was weird. So
speaking of more weird.
Yeah, Marissa and Ryan kind of start out cute. Yep. But then he wants her to like face it and she just freaks out. And I totally understand because she's kind of been like bottling it up, you know, like she just ran to Chino. Like she's really had no time to like react to it.
No, she's been planning or being involved in decorating an engagement party. She just kind of ran away.
Yeah.
Lots of things are happening.
I really hate Julie for doing this to her.
Same.
So she's like freaking out.
They get a little tussle.
But then it ends up him just being like consoling her.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, this seems fine. But then there's a knock at the door and someone's like, Ryan, there's someone here to see you. And Ryan's like, who the fuck could be here to see me? Exactly. Because like everyone he knows in Chino is already there.
Is sitting right there. It's everybody that he grew up with in his entire life is sitting in this, engagement party.
It's Luke. I just want to say, I feel horrible for Teresa, Eddie, and Eddie's families because this party's probably a really big deal for everyone involved.
Yes.
And it's just been completely hijacked by Marissa's drama.
Yes, 100% agree.
But Marissa comes out after she can hear Ryan telling Luke to get lost. Mm-hmm. And the second Luke opens his mouth, Marissa slaps the shit out of him.
Smacks the taste out of my man's mouth.
It was hilarious. And like, just amazing.
I was very pleased with this moment, to be honest with you.
Yes, I loved it. I loved
Very,
it.
very
I also love the like that's the end of the moment. Like it just cuts to like the next scene. Like
right? Slap the taste out of it and then it cuts right to Summer, which I will say, like, hold on. This was one of my favorite moments of the episode.
Summer?
Summer and Kirsten together, right?
Oh yeah, it was cute.
Like,
yeah, because they never really show them together.
Right. This is like their first kind of moment together since, Summer and Summer stuff are a thing, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So
cute.
it's kind of a
But I
cute
just love that
moment.
she feels comfortable enough to be like, what happened to make the Nana scary again? Like,
so funny.
it's hilarious. And like
Yeah.
Kirsten's kind of like awkward because she obviously like can't tell her. But then the Nana comes in and they're both kind of just staring at each other. And then the Nana comes in and Summer's like, I'm gonna go study. And the Nana's like, you told her, didn't you? And she's like, no, she just wants, we were just talking about like why you're so scary.
It's so funny.
It's so funny.
Kirsten very much blunt again with her. Like,
yes.
very, very blunt with her.
She literally is like, what does the Nana say that like sets this off?
Oh man, I'm trying to remember.
I don't even know what the Nana says because she's kind of like muttering stuff under her breath in a very Nana-like way. And then Kirsten's just like, well, you're the one who wants to die. And I'm like, jeez. I like that the Nana is combative, so they're just being combative back to her because they know that's what she needs to push her in the right direction.
Exactly, for sure. I agree with that.
Yeah. And then Teresa and Ryan again, who have a really nice moment, but it's also awkward to me.
Yes, still very awkward.
They're kind of like reflecting on their past, but she's also like, I'll invite you to the wedding. I'm like, what is going on? Like,
because even like a few hours or hour ago, like it was still very awkward. Like they had an awkward moment about it. Like
it's
Teresa and Ryan had an awkward moment about the understanding of what the hell this party is anyway, right?
yeah, because she came to him being like, I don't want to be with this guy, and now she's engaged to him. It's very weird.
I agree.
Ryan and Marissa are kind of cute, but still like, I don't know. Like, I still don't get their relationship.
Mm-mm.
But he's trying to convince her to come home, and he's like, what would I do without you? Like, I might get over you eventually. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty funny. And then another coming clean kind of conversation. Sandy and the Nana are setting up for the Seder, and he's like, she's like, I couldn't find a Seder plate. And he's like, because we don't have one, because we never have a Seder.
Yep.
And then she tells him she is going to get treatment. She's leaving early. She is going to get treatment. So their whole approach worked.
Yep.
Which is nice.
Exactly. Lovely. Very, very nice. I loved it. Yeah.
We transition to my favorite moment of the whole episode. Marissa comes back and is at her house.
She goes, maybe she won't be home.
You know, she's like, Julie won't be home, like whatever. And then Julie runs out.
Ooh.
And Marissa just tells her off.
Man,
she's like, I'm going to call the cops. And she's like, you know what? Do it. She's like, call my doctor too. And while you're at it, call dad. And she's like, also Caleb.
She just gave her the business.
It's amazing. And then she's like, I'm grabbing my stuff and I'm leaving. And she's like, okay.
It's blackmail, like a 100% blackmail.
Just like a beautiful. I love watching Julie get it back. Like,
oh, definitely, 100%. It's like my favorite.
It's just so great. Like, I know Marissa is dramatic and like whatever, but like
this
Marissa
time,
is in the right. Like
100% in the right here. Like it's not even remotely close, right?
So Jimmy comes to dinner and tells Haley that she's right, and then Haley's like, no, actually, like you're right. Like you have a lot writing on this. Yeah. You can't just get into whatever. Yeah. And I was like, oh, they're going to walk away from this being like, no more.
Time out.
But Haley's like, wait, you think I'm right? And then they're going to like move forward with this, but they're going to keep it a secret.
Secrets work so well on this show.
Yeah. So we know that's going to be great.
And then Summer's preparing for dinner.
Yeah, she's perfected her 4 questions. She has it all
Yes.
memorized.
Yeah.
But then Seth's like, you have the book at dinner, right? Like, it's hilarious. Marissa shows up.
Yeah.
Everyone's
right.
excited she's back.
Yeah.
I think Marissa's dressed a little inappropriate for a dinner with a grandma.
Yes, very much so.
I mean, I like it. It's very like early 2000s, but it's
For
very
sure.
like weird.
Yeah.
Sandy comes in to tell, he's like, is everybody hungry? They're like, yeah, starving. And they're like, you have 5 hours before you can eat.
Yep.
Hilarious. And then Sandy asks Ryan, like, how was home? And he's like, I don't know. You tell me. I was in Chino. And it's so cute.
Yep. So adorable. I loved it.
And then they have their little Seder for the first night. And it's
Yeah.
very cute. I have a question about their house. They don't have a dining room, like a formal dining room.
And that big of a house. I don't understand.
Because they took over the kitchen. And they did that last time with the episode with the
Maybe there's too many
restaurant
people?
tasting. But that's weird. Like, I'm not that wealthy. My parents have a formal dining room.
Yeah.
It's weird. I don't know.
Very weird. I agree with you. MVP.
I went the Nana.
Did you? Yeah. Yeah.
She came full circle.
Yeah, I
like
agree with you. Yeah. I can't even hate that. Like I thought about that myself. Yeah. You can't even be mad about that one.
Who'd you go?
I went Marissa.
That's good. That's a good one.
I felt like I went her that closing ending part of it, just giving Julie the business really kind of put the icing on the cake for me.
Yeah.
Like that was probably a pivotal scene. I liked it a lot. Oh no, well, I almost went Summer. You know what I mean? Almost went Summer too. I felt like
if she was in the episode a little more, I probably would have done it.
Exactly.
Our
good friend Jeremy got us a little fun fact here.
Yes.
The Nana was played by Linda Lavin, who starred as Alice in the long-running TV show Alice. It lasted 9 seasons. Her next role after the OC was not until 2010. In this movie called The Backup Plan, her character was called the Nana.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, so did I. I really enjoyed that. So.
I don't really have a great fun fact to follow that one up because that's just beautiful.
Yes.
Wow.
Good one, right?
Thank you for that.
Really good one.
Wow, this was supposed to be my segment, but he's kind of taken it over. Yeah. But mine is Rachel Bilson's dad is actually Jewish.
Oh, really?
He wasn't like raised Jewish, but so she has a little background.
I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, my fun facts are really disappointing after his.
I like it.
But
keep them coming, Jeremy. Keep them coming,
please,
buddy.
please, Jeremy. Like Jeremy's fun facts, new segment.
Right. And then
no more Kenzie.
Backup Kenzie thoughts.
Yeah.
Backup Kenzie. Oh man, thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the OC. We greatly appreciate you guys continuing to support the show. We have a blast each and every week. Make sure to head on over to Twitter, give Kenzie a follow at Kenzie Vanunu, give myself a follow at Ricky_. And until next time, we'll talk to you guys later.